Grand Rising, I am Empress Sade Elbay, and this is the Moore's News Network. If you would like to follow us, you can join our group. You can find us on Telegram at the Moore's News Network. Invite link provided in the description below. Okay, we speak on all the latest news, Mother Gaia news, spiritual news, and so much more. Okay, if you like this video, past videos, or our message at the Moore's News Network, okay, please by all means like, share, and subscribe to our channel to get this information out there to the people that may need it in these critical times that we are living in today. We are live on The Shift, okay, a show we call The Shift with Empress Phoenix Star. Adaora is not here today. We are going to speak on possible safe locations, we're hoping, okay, for the post shift, the spiritual shift, food preservation, storage, herbs, survival practices, tools, and so much more. Let me see what else. Oh, well, I'll get to that later. So without further ado, I would like to yield the floor to Empress Phoenix Star. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Empress, and you?
I'm doing pretty good. And I'm so glad that we are able to do this show today. I know it's before some people that are celebrating these holidays or is changing the holidays into what they would like to celebrate. And so we have some very important news, okay, to kind of break to you today. Now, before we get started, because I know Empress Phoenix Star, she's going to have a lot to share with you. So I kind of want to quickly just run through what I wanted to say right quick, and then I'll give the floor to her. First and foremost, is something that I came across, and I don't know if anybody has ever heard about it, but when natural disaster hits, we spoke on this before, how many times the first thing people do, obviously besides getting toilet tissue, is to get gas and propane. Okay? Now, with that being said, you may not have gas available when it's time to, in order to move around. Now, we spoke on, ways on how you can, get gas and store it for when you need it, okay? But we didn't speak on alternatives to gas. And I want to say this because I came across a video of a gentleman that was speaking about how you can put other things, other liquids in your gas tank that your vehicle, your car, whatever you want to call it, and we call it our traveling vessels, would actually run on. And one of the main things that he put in the tank, and it actually worked very well. Not only did it work very well, it exceeded expectations and did even more. It enhanced the performance, okay, of his traveling vessel. And that was vodka. Okay, he put vodka in there because it has ethanol in it, okay? It's much cleaner. Even though it has water to make it, it was definitely much cleaner and enhanced his vehicle, okay? He was in some type of pickup truck. It was very old. And he shows the video of him, traveling, okay? But when he first did it, he had like a half a tank of regular gas, and then he, got a couple of bottles of vodka, put it in there, and he didn't notice any difference all the way until it got all the way to empty. And then he also tested it again with just putting vodka in there. And also, it didn't matter which brand. Okay, the first brand was a good brand that he loved, okay, that he drinks on a normal basis. But the second one was a very generic brand, low budget. He really hated it, okay? He was talking about how horrible it was to consume. However, it still did great when it came to putting it in his tank, okay? Now, beyond that, he also has tried rubbing alcohol. And that has ethanol too, and it worked, okay? And there's other different liquids that he has tried to see. And I want to give people options because I thought that was so neat. I wanted to give people different options that they can use besides gasoline if you don't have it, so people can be ready to, have other things, or you may potentially, be somewhere and there may be alcohol around, or that grocery store, or whatever the case may be, and they're open and there is no gas. You may have another option that may potentially help you out in a hard time, in a bad scenario. So yeah, I just want to, number one, I want to throw that out there. And then before we start, because I just found that so fascinating. Before we start, is something else. Now, I spoke about this before on one of the other shows with Empress Christina Vargas, okay? And I think this would be a great way to introduce the information that Empress Phoenix is going to share today. And this is when she did her warning. And I'm putting it out there because some people may not have seen the other shows. So I want to reiterate this again. And she says, warning, heed severe cold front, blizzard, flash flood on its way, mudslide, earthquakes. Okay, you will be feeling ascension symptoms, headaches, body aches, possible fever. Do not take yourself to the rat labs at that time of the feelings of the symptoms, because they will be trying to alter your DNA. Okay, so unless you're on your last breath, do not go there. And then she also said to, help the homeless. Okay, anyone that, if you have extra coats or food and anything that you can help them at this time, because it is going to be cold, help them out, because it's going to be a lot of stuff that we are going to be experiencing, and they may not have the necessary materials, and so if you can, just try to do the best you can, especially if you have anything that you may have given away, or we're going to give it away to Goodwill, give it to the homeless. Okay, so that was the next thing. And then also she says, keep your eye on the water in the sea, emergency response on standby, unprecedented, unusual event will be cited in several places, several countries. It will be heard of throughout the world. Monsters of the sea will be sighted. Monster from underground also will be sighted. The earth will shift from under you within 24 hours or less. There will be another powerful earthquake in an unusual place known of here in America. The sleeping giant will wake, who's been asleep for 300 to 400 years. And then she says, riddle me this. There's no volcano there. I see spills of lava underneath. Where am I? Water temperature will change, so you must not drink the water. And then she says that she sees birds and fish dying, and there I will be. Now the earth will stand still, and all hell will break loose. If you see sudden silence, you must be warned. Heed, the sword will arrive to you. Okay, so this was on November 20th, 2021, and I want just to reiterate that she's speaking about hidden volcanoes that are underneath the ground that you can't see. I just want to say that, and I want to set this up as a segue to what you're going to be speaking of today. Okay?
Wow.
And so right now, I'm going to yield the floor to you so you can start talking about some very, very important information. So please, guys, take heed to also what Empress Phoenix is saying as well tonight with us. Okay? Thank you so much, Empress Phoenix.
Oh, thank you, too. Oh, my God, what an intro. That went right into what I was going to talk about. Amazing, amazing. And all props and praises to Christina Vargas. I mean, she's really been giving some good information out there. And, I can see a lot of people having aches and pains. I'm one of them, So we are definitely ascending right now. That is the beautiful thing about this. We may talk about the earth shaking. We may talk about all the different signs and things that we're feeling. But there's something good that's going to come out of this, right, Empress?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And the ascension is happening at the same time. So when you see everything going on in the earth speeding up, we are also speeding up as well. So I don't want people to fear anything.
Oh
What I
no.
do want people to do is to, again, be aware and prepare, like we stated before. And part of that preparation, which I just want to touch on right quick, is nationality. Okay, I spoke on this previously, and I'm going to keep reiterating that that is something that is a very spiritual journey, and is honoring your ancestors. And you're going to need your ancestors through these times. And how best to honor them? How best to honor them at this time than to carry what you would call the quote-unquote surnames, the appellations of your ancestors, and stand in your true identity. Okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
I feel so powerful about what you're saying. That's what I'm experiencing, isn't it? That's so. It is a spiritual
Absolutely.
experience. It'll make me feel like you're lost for words, because for the first time you'll feel your heart chakra open and say, I am doing what I'm supposed to do. If not that, you're feeling as though I'm getting into who I am.
Absolutely.
I am. You
Mhm.
know?
That's right.
Oh, wow. You know, every time we talk, we always make it spiritual, don't we? One way or another. I love
You
it.
know something? Because everything is spiritual. It's
Everything.
all spiritual. No matter what we're talking about, even all the
Yeah.
information that you're going to come with tonight has a
Yeah.
spiritual connection. And if you don't see that, then you're missing the mark.
Oh,
You're
yes.
missing something that's very
Yes.
important that you need to really pay attention to, because again, the things that are going outside of you is also happening within you,
Yes.
inside your body. Even like what you were stating today, all the stuff that you're going to talk about is happening within. We're
Happening with
feeling those tremors within. We're
this
feeling
car.
that volcano type of eruption going on within us as well.
Yes. Everything she said is so true, because a lot of people are feeling vibrations right now. They're feeling those tingles and all throughout their body. That's one of the signs of ascension. So while we go into this, also think, like she said, as it is without, it is within. While we've been
Absolutely.
sitting here talking, there's actually been earthquakes posting, as you can see. I mean, they've actually been posting the whole time we've been talking. Empress, thanks so much and I feel really, really honored of the intro that you gave, because it does go into this. I want everyone to know, please take note of this YouTube channel that I'm about to tell you about. Emergency Management Associate, and his name is Tyler. Everyone, please, whatever you do when it comes to dealing with earthquakes and volcanoes, that is the person who is, it seems like, the biggest authority that we have on YouTube, that actually takes the time out and show you the seismic activity and everything, and tell you what it is.
Could you repeat the information one more time? I know you're going to drop the links, but just in case.
Oh gosh, yes. Emergency Management Associate. And the name Tyler will come after it. You know, he puts Tyler, Tyler.
Okay.
Emergency Management Associate. We are it's so honorable to have someone that you can actually ask questions to on his videos, and he doesn't mind. He'll answer your questions. First of all, I want to run through some of the things that he's discussed. So before we start really talking about earthquakes, this is related to earthquakes. The earthquakes that are being reported as of right now, a lot of them are being downgraded. Even though the seismograph will say that it was a higher quake, they're being downgraded. That's in his opinion. Okay, I'm not the expert, he is. They haven't been showing the main cone, like, for example, over at the La Palma volcano, the eruption. If some of you are following that, you'll notice that sometimes you'll see yourself just looking at the side of the hill and lava just running down it, instead of actually seeing the cone. Also, in addition to that, I want to bring up something about Missouri. I wrote all these notes actually a week ago, but there's some things that I found out during this last full week that I'd like for you to know. I'm going to discuss some things about Missouri, because in Missouri there are 3 known volcanoes. Even though you look at somewhere like Wikipedia, it's only going to show you 1. It's going to show you one that's called Taum, Taum, space S-A-U-K, Mountains. It's a state park. The other one that's out there also is the Elephant Park, State Park, Elephant Rock. Because the rocks look like, they call them elephant rocks. They're really unusually shaped, and they're very unusually large. That is also an inactive, as of right now, volcano. And the third one is St. Francois, Francios State Park. It's a mountain. It's St. Francois Mountain State Park. So there are actually three in Missouri Ozarks, everyone. I know there's a lot of people that are moving that way, but they always state that as long as you're at least 100 miles from one, you should be relatively safe and hopefully are safe. And there are other areas that are available, and I brought this up before just last week, but I knew of two. Now I know of a third one. So I just want to keep everyone up to date that are moving to the Missouri Ozarks, are considering it, that you need to look out for the state parks. It's a mountain range. They're all pretty much, you might as well say, almost like connected in a sense. Another thing here, he also mentioned that a lot of these earthquakes that you're seeing, and this is the second time I've heard this, a lot of these earthquakes that you're seeing, and they're by mountains, they actually are volcanoes. They may be inactive. They may actually, yeah, you know what I mean, right? Empress? Yeah. They're actually inactive. And I really, people that live in California, Nevada, Arizona, the Cascadia, they call it, like the Oregon, the Washington State, British Columbia, what's the other one, and parts of Northern California. Those areas there have a mountain range that go all the way through all of those places I just named, and it's nothing but volcanoes on that. And I'm going to show you some illustrations of that. Anything you'd like to add, before I keep
No, I'm glad that you're sharing this information. I want to jump straight into this share because this is very important information, because many people, I don't think they get a full understanding, and we spoke on this prior to the show, that, that there are so many volcanoes, and that there may be several within their area that are dormant, okay, and like I've just stated, even underground. And you need to do the research and see if you are somewhere that is a safe location, and if not, start preparing for if you need to flee
Absolutely.
the area.
And for example, Empress, the people that are on the West Coast, and knowing that I grew up out there and lived many years out there, not only do you have volcanoes out there, you also have fault lines.
Right.
You know, so you have there's a lot of things to be concerned with living in that particular area. And if you look on the screen here, you can actually see what Cascadia looks like. You know, since we're bringing it up in California right now, I mean, we really need to understand that there are quite a few threats in this area here. I mean, look at all of this. Not only do you have threats here, you also have threats out here in the water as well. There's actually volcanoes underwater, especially outside of the coast of Oregon. I found that out.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yep. Matter of fact, Empress, what happened was I was saying earlier, I was looking at the list of the screen I had previously had up, and it said earthquake offshore off coast of Oregon. And I said, I bet you there's a volcano there. I'm not a ghost buster. I'm the volcano hunter.
Well, you've definitely been doing a great job. I just want to let you know that.
So I said, let me look up, and don't use DuckDuckGo. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to miss information. Go up to Google. I don't like to use Google, but I tell you what, they're the ones you want to use in what we're talking about, because they'll pull up previous websites and articles that are on this stuff that you're searching, and you will find a whole bunch of information. So right now we're going to talk about the West for a little bit. Is that okay, Empress?
No, go ahead. Absolutely.
Okay. Now look at all these volcanoes, guys. All of this stuff is going all the way from British Columbia all the way down to Northern California. Plus, you have volcanoes in central and southern part of California. We're just talking about this little bitty corner of California, but look at all these people that are in somewhere like Oregon. And look at this Mount St. Helens. You know, that's a very, very well known volcano. I mean, and they're all side by side. Can you see this? This is crazy.
Mhm. Oh, I can see it perfectly on the screen.
Okay, it's just crazy. So you also remember this, and this is something that Empress and I, we mention this to each other so we can remember this. If there are hot springs in the mountains, 9 times out of 10, and this is something I learned from the guy, there may be a volcano nearby. That's why they're hot springs.
Okay, I'm glad you remembered to say that to the people, because we did speak on that.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that, people. Remember that, especially look in your location and see if there's hot springs.
Yes, because they can be anywhere in the state. Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing too is I need you all to do. This is a homework assignment for everybody for your life. Okay, this is a life assignment, not a homework assignment. This is a life assignment. If you have a state park where you live at, I don't care what state it is, go to Google, put the name of the state park, and put volcano. Especially if that state park has hills. Because I just found out today, people are about to start skiing on a volcano. I also found out today that there is a city in New Jersey, not a city, a town in New Jersey that's actually on the top of a volcano. Yo, there's some crazy stuff going on here.
Yes, it is.
I'll show this stuff to you as we go on. It's just so much information that I want to give you. Right now, what's happening in the world is we have Nibiru that's above us. Whether people believe it or not, I mean, you can research that for yourself. There's people actually seeing it. Everyday people, right? Empress, we post that in our chat.
Mm-hmm.
You know. What's happening is there's like a gravitational type of pull going on right now with our planet and that planet. Okay, that's one thing that's going on. Also, you have a pending pole shift that's going on. You have a lot of earthquakes that are happening near mountain ranges. Well, they call it, see if I can pull this up for you. One thing I learned by looking at, okay, here it is right here. You see this orange here? That's called a magma chamber. That's how this volcano fills up and actually erupts. Right now, with these little small earthquakes that we have going on, there's a lot of magma movement in the chambers all across the states right now, all across the world. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So as we're getting stronger in our ascension, you have to understand, as above, as below, our Earth, like Empress Sade mentioned, our Earth is going through its sort of ascension right now. It's going through its changes right now. You know, so we are connected to this Earth. I mean, this is part of us. You know, so what's happening with us is happening with the Earth as well. So right now, the signs right now that people are understanding, and if you go to the Emergency Management YouTube Associate, Emergency Management Associate YouTube channel, you'll find that he'll show you the seismograph, you know, that measures the earthquakes and everything. Yep. Mm-hmm. It also measures magma. He's going to show you where the magma is moving on these earthquakes. Okay, so I'm telling people, remember, Emergency Management Associate. Make sure you go to that YouTube channel. That fella is so knowledgeable that it's unbelievable. Please, go ahead, Empress. I'm sorry.
No, you know something? I just want to interject and say, because I know we talked about it ahead of time, and I don't know if we're really saying it in the way for a solid understanding. She's talking about the earthquakes, people, and pretty much what she's saying is that all of the volcanoes that are dormant is becoming active in some sort of way.
Right.
And some of the signs would be the earthquake. Am I right, Empress?
That's right. The magma is what makes the earthquake. As the magma moves, it causes an earthquake.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You said it. You said exactly what it is. It is exactly how you said it. Yeah, and as this magma, and if people are confused, magma is lava that just hasn't came out of the volcano. Okay, basically, so you have hot molten rock that's going through these tubes and going through chambers underground, and as that's moving around, it causes dis-ease with the land, and so the land starts to shake because of it. That's what's happening right now. And it's very important to talk about these volcanoes that are inactive, because you might be in Alabama and not realize there is a volcano in Alabama. You may be in Georgia and not realize there is a volcano there, and there is one in Georgia. And let me hurry up and get to that, because I might have to skip some of the other things that I've learned, because I think people really need to know as far as what's going on with the different states. The main thing I wanted to sum up is, before I found out about these volcanoes being in different states that I had no idea they were there, I was going to go through this right here. I was going to explain how these volcanoes are acting here in this area. But as time goes on, I find out something else, and all of a sudden my priorities have to change, because of the audience that we have. I want to show you something. I want to read some things to you. As you can see, we're still having earthquakes. These are all these earthquakes. And if I click now, I do need to explain what you're looking at here. This is telling me all the earthquakes that are from 3.0 to 5.0 all across the world, right? Now,
Okay.
we have someone that we really care about, and she lives in Puerto Vallarta. When you see Colima, Colima is not too far from Puerto Vallarta. What is it? Puerto Vallarta.
Vallarta. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I think I gotta say it correctly. Okay, so we have a lot of expatriates in Telegram that actually are living in Mexico. So I have to make sure that I even look out for them while I'm talking, because they have a lot of activity going on. If I click this again, it's going to give me the red volcanoes on the side, the ones that are erupting, and the ones that have warnings, and the ones that green that are inactive. Now look at this. Off the coast of Oregon, go right there. Oh, no, cancel that. off the coast of Oregon, you see that there is a volcano there. Gulf of California, not too far from Mexico, boom, right there. God, I gotta stop saying that. Cancel. I've been listening to too many people saying that. But look at all of these. Look at this. Gulf of California, Gulf of California. So and look at those. They're not little. They're in the fours. But the thing is that when I was going through this, I said, I see that there's a Victorville earthquake. And I want to show that to you real quick. And it's very important, because, oh, it's not going to be on this one. It's going to be on the other one. Well, I'll just go ahead and let you know what to save time. Basically, what happened was, I was looking at the list that didn't have the volcanoes listed. And what happened was, I was able to see that there were actually volcanoes that were in these different places that weren't there. I never had heard of them before. So this is what I want to cover right now. I'm going to go ahead and get to it so you guys can understand everything that's going on. As you can see on my notepad, it says, what are the 3 different states of a volcano that what it can be in? And it states that it can be active, dormant, or extinct. And I have pretty much been stating that dormant, extinct, it doesn't matter. If there's lava, magma still under the ground in those areas, they can still erupt. There's one, I'll get to Chris's, but this is what I discovered, and I haven't even gone through all the states yet. These are the states that have volcanoes in them, and people probably don't even know. Washington State, we know about that. Oregon, we know about that. California, we should know about that, but not everyone in California knows that there's volcanoes there. They really don't.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I grew up there. I didn't know that. I didn't know that till just recently. It's as sad as it sounds. New Jersey. Who would ever think a volcano would be in New Jersey? Oklahoma, Alabama. We already covered Missouri. Texas. Who would think that there's a volcano in Texas and Georgia? Who would even think that? So let me show you what led up to me finding these different places with volcanoes. So I noticed on the earthquake list that Flint, Michigan had an earthquake. And I said, okay, let me check. Were there any volcanoes in Michigan? Yes, there were. They say were. That means they're still there. They're just dormant. In the Upper Peninsula, it was a long time ago, 2.5 billion years ago, so they say. And they state that there were copper mines of the Upper Peninsula are there because of the ancient volcanoes putting out huge lava flows and minerals. I have the website for that, and I can definitely show you where that is. That's a scholastic website, so it wasn't like somebody just off the street. It was actually a scholastic teacher's article type of thing for teaching. So that apparently that does exist. Now, Illinois. Someone dear to me, we were talking about it, and I'll let you hear what happened about Illinois. In addition to killing 100,000 people and eventually leading to cholera outbreaks across the globe, that eruption may have led to Illinois becoming a state. It was the eruption of Tambora in 1815, and the plume from the massive volcano spread across the globe, causing climate change around the world the next few years. So there is an inactive volcano that is in the state of
Illinois. And let me say this, because you just mentioned something. It said it caused climate change. So just with these words, you already know that they know that what's going on is a natural occurrence. This is not just a man-made thing.
Yes.
You're talking about how the volcano
Yes.
eruption can cause climate change, and that's the narrative that they love to throw out there and the words that they choose to use. But it's all natural occurrences, especially when you're talking about the pole shift itself, because this is not the first time that has happened before.
So,
along with just looking at just disasters in itself. I mean, things change. The climate can change. The landscape changes. It's a lot of changes that happens when you have something like this, take place. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, I'm glad you said it, because you just triggered my mind on something I forgot to mention. If all these, let's just say hypothetically, and this is something everyone needs to keep in mind, if a lot of volcanoes were to start going off, erupting, the first thing that can happen is the sun is going to be blocked. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about survival, because reality hit me today when I was reading this. I've heard it. I already know that they can cause an ice age. Yes, volcanoes can cause an ice age because it's blocking the sun. Well, if the sun is blocked and I have a solar generator, you know where I'm going now. How am I going to get solar heat? Charge.
Mm-hmm.
So now, Empress Sade just mentioned something that really was valuable even to me. If a car can run on vodka, I need to find out if a generator can run on vodka, because this chick's going to be buying a whole bunch of vodka if it can, So these are things we're going to have to, we're talking about this ahead of time. And the reason why we're talking about this, folks, is because you're listening to two very spiritual women that really care about people. I mean that. We really care about people.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And we want you to understand that you're not helpless. We're giving you information to empower you. That's where our intention is. It's empowerment. Right, Empress? I mean,
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it any better. I'm hoping that everyone listening feels more empowered by listening to this show because you're getting some type of answers or resolutions.
we didn't get this in school, did we, Empress?
Well, yeah, you weren't going to get any of this information in those. They were teaching you how to be good debt slaves
Yeah, right.
and to stay within that corporate system. So yeah, you was not going to get any of this information in their system.
And you know what, Empress, there's
Mm-hmm.
something that the gentleman, I'll call him Tyler, Tyler from the Emergency Management Associates, he brought up a good point. He said, you might be asking, why don't some of these cities that are having these earthquakes with the magma moving around underground, filling up these volcanoes, why wouldn't they warn the people? He said, don't you know, it's about money. He said, because if the politicians were to put out that, there's a possible earthquake, a possible volcano is about to go off in a place that people aren't used to it going off, they will all leave. And there goes their tax dollars.
You know something? That's one of the reasons, and absolutely true. But then we also know about
Oh,
them stating that it's just too many people,
yeah,
and this is a good way to depopulate areas in the planet a little bit more within a natural disaster
yeah.
that would happen. And again, you couldn't completely just blame them. This is
No, you can't.
something, yeah, this is something that you wouldn't be able to pinpoint,
It's
to them.
systematic, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's part of the system. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. She brought up a good point, guys. I mean, she really did. Well, we just covered Illinois. We also talked about an ice age or great. One thing that he stated was a great deal of snow is going to come to places that never had snow. That already happened in Texas. Now, I don't know if people are fully aware of it. In the state of Texas, you can get a weather modification license. Oh, no, you conspiracy theory. Well, I'll tell you what, let's put it to the test. Put in your search T, D, like Delta, L, Lima, R, TDLR. That is your motor vehicle place in the state of Texas. And then when you get to that website, I want you to hover up at the top. You're going to see weather modification licenses, weather modification license. So those of you that feel that this is a conspiracy theorist or weather modification, tell me why can a person get a license for it in the state of Texas? Please tell me.
Exactly. And I mean, they have reported even in the mainstream media news before about, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was China having, the cloud seeding,
Cloud.
seedlings and stuff where they, yeah, so they've stated stuff just because people didn't want to do the research or didn't want to hear it because, everybody wants to hear no evil, see no evil, and speak no
Yeah.
evil,
Oh, no, I
and
want
they
to be
think they can
comfortable.
blink it out. I'm sorry.
I want to be comfortable.
Yeah, they just want to be comfortable as they fade to black. As they fade to black, they just want to be comfortable and, do their little travels and go out to eat until that good night comes, until the
Yeah.
good night.
Well, we kind of
Hmm.
talked about that in the. Well, I put a little thing in the chat about being a spectator or a participant.
Right, right.
We
I've
can't be
seen that too.
spectators for life. We can't be spectators. This is not a sport. This is not a football game that we're watching. This is not the awards or beauty pageant or whatever. This is not even a concert that we're watching, guys. This is our life. And, if it's a movie, then we need to start writing our own script.
Exactly,
You know?
exactly.
But like I said, we just want to empower you guys. Well, the next place, Empress, let's take a trip to San Francisco.
Okay.
Would you believe that there's actually a volcano in San Francisco?
You know something? Only because I was doing some of this study a while back. Before then, I
Mm-hmm.
had no clue of any of this, and until I had bumped into Zeta talks and was looking at the shift information, several years ago. Other than that, I had no clue. Just like you're saying, I didn't know any of this, and I heard about the Ring of Fire, and
Yep.
everywhere on that West Coast,
Yep.
and have seen the all the volcanic activity, including in the water, because that's how islands are made.
Yes.
That's a little science, fact. That a lot of islands and different lands are made through the volcano. So it's a necessity. Okay, that's something necessary for creation. Okay, to happen. So we do know that. But yeah, I mean, and I also we have one of the nobles. I don't know if we're going to have a lot of time today, but to touch bases in Colombia, because he stays in Colombia,
Okay,
and I had an honor of speaking with him.
we'll do that. Okay, you want me to touch on Colombia today? I will
Yeah,
definitely.
just a little bit at least.
Absolutely. Do you have anyone else that's requested an area yet?
Well, I know of him because I just spoke with him, and he's trying to get away from any danger. Okay, so he's trying to stay up in the mountains and so forth. However, I will say this, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to say something I completely forgot 2 seconds ago. If anybody is you're living in a location that you want to know about the dangers, of course you can research it yourself. Empress Phoenix Star is giving all the information to empower you, so you can do the study for yourself the same way she has. The same way she has. She is new to this information, even though she sounds like a completely experienced veteran to this information. But she's studying this info, and you can do it too. I just want to say that. However, if you want to join the show live, or if you want to send a message through either Telegram or through email, and because depending on your schedule, you can't participate in the show live at the time, then please do so, and Empress Phoenix Star will look at your area. Okay, because there's so many areas, it's just we can't just get to it all anyway in one particular time. Yeah, so just let us know, and she'll look in your area for you, and then you can start doing a study from that point. So I'm glad you brought that up. I just wanted to say that.
Absolutely, and also to piggyback on what Empress just stated, we might this video is going to be premiered, and right now we're actually doing it live now. However, when you see it premiere, it's not live. So, but Empress has also stated, please put remarks in there. Even I need to go back to some of the videos and make sure that we're not overlooking some of the requests. It wouldn't show up in the chat. Does the chat show up? Yeah, it does show up.
You know what? I find sometimes that the live chat shows up and sometimes that it doesn't, but the comments shows up. So if you put something in the comments, Empress Phoenix Star can also speak to you straight from the comments as well.
Yes, I will do that. I will definitely do that.
Absolutely.
Well, I tell you what, Empress, I grew up in the Bay Area. I used to party, go to the underage nightclub many decades ago in San Francisco. So this is news. This was news to me. Is there any chance of an extinct San Francisco Peaks may erupt someday? The San Francisco Peaks are an active volcano, not extinct. Did you hear that?
I know I have. I hope everybody else is listening. I definitely heard you.
Yes, it says the word extinct is basically a very dangerous one. Many of the worst eruptions of history have happened on extinct volcanoes. It is just that humans do not look at long periods of time. The volcanoes are activists. There are about 400, listen to this is for Flagstaff. There are about 400 small cinder cones around Flagstaff, and that's Arizona for those that haven't been there, and that's a beautiful place. The good news is that cinder cones are usually what we call monogenetic, meaning that they only erupt once for about 10 years. I am not going to move to Flagstaff and wait for the next eruption because it probably won't happen in my lifetime. This is the person writing it. The record tells us that the San Francisco Peaks have not had activity for a long time. and the cinder cones seem to be less frequent than they were before. Now, that is something I'm going to have to research, are cinder cones. I can guess it, but I don't want to. But I'm going to research what that is, and I'll have an answer for it if someone asks me.
Okay, perfect.
But apparently, it's a cone. We do know that lava comes out of a cone. Now, what type of this type of cone, I'm not familiar with. So, I'm not an expert, but I do want to get the information. So it's CINDER. So if you want to look it up while you're looking at the video, you'll know, also CINDER cones. Those are in Flagstaff and also in San Francisco. I'm sure other places, but we can only grab so much information. Now, anything you want to state about San Francisco there before I go on to?
No, continue. Keep going. You're doing a great job.
Okay. It seems like this is going to be the main thing I'm going to be able to cover with the time we have, and that's fine because this is some important stuff.
Oh, you got that right. Absolutely, because this is one thing that people are not looking at the most. People are looking at tsunamis, earthquakes, and we know of some volcanic activity, but I don't think they're specifically looking at their neck of the woods and looking at it. So
exactly.
Continue. You're doing a great job.
All right. I saw that there was an earthquake off the coast of Oregon. So I said, naturally, what I did was, like I said earlier in the show, I went and searched, Volcano, Oregon coast. I said off Oregon coast. And this is what came up. The axial seamount is an underwater volcano 300 miles off the off the Oregon coast. It has erupted 3 times since it was discovered in 1981. Previously, scientists had only 20 images of the volcano, and this article was dated the 6th of December 2019. So, did you hear about that lady? Oh gosh, someone posted in the room. There was a lady that went after her dog in some water. Was it at Yellowstone? The dog burned. She has an drug-induced coma because she burned when she went into the water. So during the pole shift, be very careful if you're in the mountainous areas. You're just going off into the water because you don't know. You're gonna have to test things. And this is I didn't even think about this till I just started talking about it. Even I have to have this registering in my mind. I have to test the water because I don't know what's underneath. That water she went into was over 200 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ooh.
Okay. It was really hot. It was hot enough to burn her body like 70% or something like that. Okay, but remember, guys, this is to empower you, not to fearmonger you. This is to empower you and give you tips that you can use, to look out for you and your loved ones.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So then I saw an earthquake. Guess what? Empress, I saw an earthquake that was by Victorville, and this just happened today. And I was like, Victorville. I used to live in Redlands and, in the San Bernardino area, not too far. But I said, okay, let me check to see if there's a volcano near Victorville. It says, is Bell Mountain, California a volcano? And the image shows a volcano. The image on this article showed a volcano near Victorville. Bell Mountain, named for the shape of a bell, the mountain is comprised of ocean bottom sediment capped by a hard hat of volcanic eruption material, not its own. That caused it to erode into this shape. Bell Mountain, a hill 3,903 feet high, northeast of Victorville in Sidewinder Valley. So yes, there is a volcano that's very close to Victorville, California. Okay. All of these are not on Wikipedia. All of these are not listed. These are like forgotten volcanoes. But the Earth doesn't forget her volcanoes if it was like a pole shift. So I'm just letting people know, you need to be very careful because there's other places that I said, you know, I was sitting here and I was like, let me think. Let me pick a state that I know a lot of people live in, that are on Telegram. They probably listen to this. I'm going to do some more states. Don't think the ones I'm covering now are the only ones, are cities. Okay, what is the closest volcano to, well, it said California, but it was to Tucson. It was, does Tucson have Arizona? Does Tucson, Arizona have a volcano? Because guess what? They just had an earthquake. The Tucson Mountains are largely the remains of an immense, more than 15-mile-long volcanic powders or collapsed volcano. Tucson, Arizona. Towering stratovolcanoes erupted here with a far greater explosive force than did modern Mount St. Helens. This article was dated December the 13th, 2002. So Tucson, Arizona has a mountain range of volcanoes that have collapsed.
Okay.
Okay? So that right there did it. And so I was looking further into the article and I read this. Now, we do currently have Antarctica melting, right? I mean, some of us have heard it's actually melting, right? We've seen that big old gigantic piece of ice that's been floating in the water. I don't know where it's at now, but they were like saying it's going to hit Brazil and all these different things. Well, guess what? Okay, what if Antarctica's dormant volcanoes woke up? It would melt.
Right.
That's the article saying. And if all Antarctica's ice melted, it would raise the global sea level by about 60 meters, 200 feet. So that also can flood the coast. Rising sea levels could contribute to major storms moving slower, and dropping more rain. Hurricanes and typhoons would wreak havoc on the Earth's surface. So right now, as I sit right now, and I know that a whole bunch of places have flooded on the different coastlines right now. I mean, you know, and I do know that Antarctica is currently melting. It makes you wonder. I'm not saying that that's what it is, but in this day and age, you have to think of different theories or possibilities, like a detective would do if he was investigating a crime. This is why I don't like the term conspiracy theorist, because it was made in 1967 and it was actually coined and phrased by the government so that way you would not question Kennedy's assassination. Now, you can research that. You can research that. So if anybody uses that term, you are doing exactly what a certain group of people want you to do, to control the people around you from thinking. And they don't want you to use critical thinking. Oh, of course not. You can't do that. So this is him. You know, we're trying to empower people right now. We don't know what we're really watching because we don't know if we're being told the truth. But we're thinking people, and we investigate. And if we don't know, we'll go somewhere that at least has investigated, even if it's just a little that I have, just a little that I have. If you want to take your investigation further, you can. But that is a concern. We have been told that it's melting. So if volcanoes are coming alive all over the planet, that means the ones up there could be, down there could be too. But then again, Antarctica is supposed to be north and not south. But anyway, that's another story. That is something to think about. If Antarctica is melting right now because of magma moving underground, all that heat, melting all that ice, something to think about.
Yeah, and I did do, it was a mainstream media article not too long ago. I think it was on one of those crazy news updates, mainstream media, one of those videos. Where I just kind of run through a list, and if I'm not mistaken, because I've seen it, so I just believe I put it in that video. One was specifically about Antarctica melting. We've been hearing about that for a long time. Yeah. Now they blatantly come out and tell you that. They just don't tell you why, besides climate change. And it's something that we're doing, and that's the way, to tax us and to get more control of the people. and to stop us from doing things. That's the only reason that they give. They don't give any of the stuff that Empress Phoenix is telling you today.
Nope. It's called gaslighting. If you,
Yes, gaslighting. Mm-hmm.
Yep. There's a really great movie that was done in the 50s, and I don't look at a lot of older movies, but this one is good. It's called The Bad Seed. I advise everybody to look at this movie called The Bad Seed, S-E-E-D. This little girl will show you exactly how a narcissist is, because in theater, well, in drama, you have to show facial expressions. You have to watch this little girl's facial expression. And it automatically will tell you how she thinks. It will tell you how cold she is and how unempathetic and manipulative that she is. And gaslighting is one of the number one things that a narcissistic person or a person that's very insecure that wants to have control with it. And I'm glad you brought that up. Now, what I did was I was going through asking questions, and all of a sudden, all these different questions and answers started coming up. And I think the best way to learn something is to look at a question and then look at an answer. Instead of just saying, this is the answer, this is the answer. No, let's look at it like this. What happens if Mount St. Helens erupts? Everybody would want to know that. If Mount St. Helens reawakened violently, an ash plume reaching 30,000 feet. I can't even fathom 30,000 feet or more would materialize in as little as 5 minutes, grounding aircraft and wreaking havoc on agriculture, water, power supplies, and human health. This article was dated May the 18th, 2010. Now, not all of this is bad, because someone asked, "Can you outrun lava?" And I thought that was a positive. What the answer was.
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah, we could outrun. We could turn into some instant track stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, watch this. How fast can lava flow? Now, you would want to know this if the volcano started erupting. How fast can it flow? Fluid basalt flows. That's a word I'm not familiar with. Flows can extend tens of kilometers from an erupting vent. Okay, the leading edges of basalt flows can travel as fast as 10 kilometers per hour, 6 miles per hour. On steep slopes, that's steep, but they typically advance less than 1 kilometer per hour, 0.27 miles minutes per second, or 1 foot per second on gentle slopes. So that's kind of nice to know. That's kind of nice to know. Now, can a human, I'm glad they thought we were human, that's nice of them, outrun lava? Could I outrun the lava and make it to safety? Well, technically, yes. Most lava flows, especially those from shield volcanoes, the less explosive type found in Hawaii, are pretty sluggish, as long as the lava doesn't find its way into a tube or chute-shaped valley. It will probably move slower than a mile per hour. Now, that's good to know. If a volcano's going off, don't go in the valley. But try to get like a groove, like a tube, like where it's just sunken in and kind of narrow. Do not go in that area. Get higher or away, or just try to get completely from that sunken area that's near a volcano. Okay. Can you stand next to lava? Now, we see people do this, but I don't think they're standing as close as we think they do. I think the camera is helping out. It says heat goes way up. This is heat that you can't stand. You have to get back, otherwise blisters start to form. It is hot enough that you can accidentally step on active lava. They are dangerous, not as much because of the radiant heat from the lava inside, but because of the superheated plume of air coming out. So just don't be curious. If you see lava, just go the other way. It's not something you need to see up close, okay? Can anything stop lava? Let's say you're out in the sticks somewhere and a volcano just went off and You're growing food, you know, like you see over in Volcano. There is no way to stop the flow of lava. Scientists say they did, however, have some success in diverting the lava from the island's harbor, but they were unable to stop the lava. That interruption killed one person and destroyed portions of several towns. This was part of an article that was dated May the 10th, 2018. Can
Okay.
extinct volcanoes erupt? Now, this is something that we talked about. Active volcanoes have a recent history of eruptions. They are likely to erupt again. Dormant volcanoes have not erupted for a very long time, but may erupt at a future time. Extinct volcanoes are not expected to erupt in the future. But we just read the opposite of that, the article before, that from the scholastic ones that said they can. Some of the most dangerous ones that have erupted have been extinct volcanoes. Let's see. I'm gonna skip some stuff. Empress, would you think that a volcano would be in Louisiana?
Let me see. Well, it is that bowl,
Yeah.
so it's possible.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Thor Point volcano was discovered in 1963 by Shell Oil Company in exploratory oil well drilling. It is the only known volcanic structure in the northern and western Gulf of New Mexico. It is thought to be Louisiana's only volcanic structure. It's thought to be.
Right. That's the key word there.
Yeah. Tell you. When you see someone is thought to be, that means they don't know. Or they don't want you to know. One or the other. Oklahoma. Did you think that there was a volcano in Oklahoma?
The fact that it is higher in elevation, a lot of those places that is higher in elevation, something has lead me to say yes,
Yeah.
that there would be.
You are 100% correct. There is a lot of information to have on Oklahoma. There's a lot of people in Oklahoma. The it could be Rayton Clayton volcanic field is a large, young volcanic field covering nearly 7,500 square miles of northeastern New Mexico and adjoining Colorado and Oklahoma. It is the easternmost young volcanic field in North America. I even have a link for that. I had to do a search. You can see it says Google search. Are there any volcanoes in Oklahoma? Located in far northwestern Cimarron County in Oklahoma Panhandle, at a elevation of 4,972.97 feet, the highest point in Oklahoma, the Black Mesa Plateau has been called a geological wonder of North America. Nowhere else in Oklahoma has there been such recent volcanic activity. How was Black Mesa formed in Oklahoma? The lava erupted from a vent in the Raton-Clayton volcanic field in the northeastern New Mexico, all the way in New Mexico, guys, in southeastern Colorado. The volcanic cap to the mesa is 600 feet thick, 55 miles long, and from a half a mile to 8 miles wide, which is 65 miles to the northwest of Oklahoma.
Oh, wow. That's pretty big.
Uh-huh. Is the Black Mesa a volcano? Black Mesa is the remnant of a lava flow from Copeland Volcano in New Mexico, from 3 to 5 million years old, an outcropping on the Mesa Range in color from dark brown to black. Black Mesa is also known for its extremely dark skies. And this article was dated January the 12th, 2017. What's the highest point in the highest point is the Black Mesa Trail for rewarding hiking. Remember, I said they're always state parks, and they're talking about hiking. Look, this is a perfect example. For a rewarding hiking experience, look no further than Black Mesa Summit Trail. This trail will take you all the way to the top of Black Mesa, where you can stand at the highest point in Oklahoma. Guess what? You didn't tell those people it's a volcano, though, did you?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like I said, guys, a lot of your state parks, they have mountains. You need to research them, especially if you live near one. I could not find anything on Elephant Rock Mountain. I didn't know. I had to actually look up that name and put Volcano, but I was looking for Missouri, and that one never showed for me. It took somebody that's like a geologist, or he's basically like a emergency management type of person that actually goes out to volcanoes and the crews and analyze the data and all of those things. It took someone like that, so a professional in the field, to tell me about Elephant Rock, because I couldn't find it anywhere. So after I realized that, that's why I started digging, and now you see the results of my curiosity, and those are the things I'm talking about now. Okay, I just have 3 more places, and I'll hurry up. Are there volcanoes in Georgia? Here's a little secret that not many people are aware of. There are volcanoes that exist in the North Georgia mountains. The dormant volcano actually erupted in 1857 and has been remaining still ever since. So yes, people, Georgia has volcanoes, not a volcano. Those mountains are volcanoes. Crazy, huh?
You got that right. You got that right. But again, that gives people something to think about and do their research on in their area. So I'm glad we're speaking on this.
Yeah. There's an article. I can put these links. I'll put these links on. Few people realize there's a volcano chain right here in Georgia. Another one is volcanoes in Georgia. Yes, Pigeon Mountain. I can show that real quick before I go to Alabama. And yes, there's volcanoes in Alabama. I mean, yeah. So the lava nose is stopping up. Okay. Let's take a look at that. Yes.
Oh, wow, look at that.
That right there, I don't think is the actual one. I think they used a different one. I did read through this. Pigeon Mountain isn't a dormant volcano. You see that? It isn't. In fact, based on more extensive research I did, the geology just doesn't work. Most of the rock in the area is sandstone or limestone. That's another sign. Limestone and granite. It seems like those minerals are always near volcanoes.
Oh,
and
wow.
to volcanic activity. Though what is now Georgia had volcanic activity hundreds of millions of years ago. Pigeon Mountain wasn't part of it. So please forgive my error, and thanks for all the corrections submitted to me. When you think of a volcano in the U.S., where do you think of them? Hawaii is a good bet. Since
Right.
there are 3 active volcanoes in the state, Mauna Loa, okay, he's talking about Hawaii, da-da-da-da-da. How about Alaska? Alaska has a whole bunch of volcanoes up there. Pacific Northwest, we already covered Mount Helen, Mount St. Helens, Mount Shasta's there, Mount Rainier, all come to mind. But have you ever thought volcanoes in Georgia? Believe it or not, Pigeon Mountain is northwest Georgia, is a dormant volcano that last erupted in 1857. This data matched with the other one. Besides Pigeon Mountain itself, in the Pigeon Mountain volcanic range, there are 5 extinct volcanoes and 1 collapsed caldera. As you can see, this isn't an impressive volcano. Caves. So there are caves there too. I've often wondered if caves, now I don't know the answer to this, I'm not an expert, but I've often wondered if some of the caves that are associated with these type of mountains were lava tubes where lava came out, or if they were part of a collapsed chamber for the magma. You know, it's just things, I start to get curious the more I research this. But I just wanted to let you know that, yes, there are definitely volcanoes in Georgia. Okay. I would have never thought that. Would you have thought that, Tier? I would have never.
No. You know what? Like I said in the beginning, I would have never thought any of this until I learned that, most mountains were volcanoes at one point.
And Alabama does have them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Texas has them too. Um, Pilot Knob is one of around 75 lake creek. I don't know always how to pronounce this. Cretaceous period volcanic complexes scattered around central Texas, from Waco to Austin. Oh my gosh. San Antonio and Del Rio. The Pilot Knob volcanic complex consists of four small rounded hills, including Pilot Knob proper, forming the volcano's core area in the area 2 miles in diameter. Wow. So that right there concludes my research that I've recently done on places that I had no clue had volcanoes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really grateful that I was able to get through all of this, because what I'll do is I'll keep adding on to this and find more states. But if you're curious and don't have time for me to do the research, and I can always overlook something, and some things are hidden, guys. I'm just going to tell you right now. Just if you live near a state park or a mountain, put the name of that mountain or state park in Google and put the word volcano. You need to find out what's in your backyard.
Right.
Because I guarantee you, a lot of people in Alabama, in Georgia, in Texas have no idea that there are volcanoes there. And you got to remember, let's say stuff hits the fan and you start migrating to an area you're not familiar with. You would know that you would have to be a little leery of mountainous areas off the bat now. If you, let's say you migrated and you're in a flat area and you see some mountains in the distance, all of a sudden you're starting to feel a lot of earthquakes. Then you're going to go, okay, I don't think I want to go too much closer to that mountain over there, because I don't know if it's a volcano. At least you have that knowledge now. At least you have that knowledge now. And I hope that I gave you something that you could use tonight.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Yep, you definitely have. You hit on a lot of pieces that again, people, take this information and do your own study on it.
Yeah.
Do your own study.
This channel here, the fellow that I was talking about, his latest, that's what he talks about. He talks about numerous earthquakes, volcanoes, that he talks about that together. I mean, he'll look at the seismograph and he'll say, okay, on the top here you can see that there's an earthquake, but let me show you where the magma's moving underground. And then he'll raise it up and then he'll show you where the magma's moving, under a volcano.
Okay.
He's just that good. I really look up to this guy, and you can actually ask him questions in the comments on the newer videos, and he may just answer you. Sorry. I don't know how much time we have, Empress. I know it's after 9 right now.
Well, I mean, you can give whatever information that you have right now, and we can kind of wrap it up for today.
Okay.
And then we'll just get started where we left off. But you can give a little bit more information. It is after 9, but we can kind of wrap up in the next, 10 or so minutes.
Okay. Well, I do have a few things that I ran across on Amazon that look like they're pretty good. Would you like for me to show them some good ideas?
Yes.
Okay. And everyone, just remember, all this information that we're providing to you is to empower you, not to fearmonger you or anything, but it's also for your awareness, to become more aware. Many of you have a lot of things going on in your life, and you're juggling a lot of things, and you have the stress of a lot of things probably, that are going on. So what we want to do is to be able to provide you with something that you can use to where maybe something in the future won't be stressful for you, because you'll have the knowledge and the information that you need, to deal with some of these things that we're talking about.
Right.
That's really important, and I really want to thank Empress Sade for allowing me to come on the show and share.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, no problem. I'm happy that you have came to give this information, because she's going hard, guys. She's going hard, doing a lot of the, like I said, the research for you and bringing it to you. And now you guys have a foundation to start from, okay? Because now you have some knowledge to go off of, and then you can take it from there. It's like a marathon, you know. She's
Yeah.
passing the baton to you guys, and you guys can take that baton and run from there, and
Yeah.
run your race.
Yeah, because I'm an old lady, I ran as far as I could. Here, take this baton, youngin.
Mhm.
Keep running. We got to win this race.
Right.
Hey, Empress,
Absolutely.
I ran across something that I wish I had bought. Look at this. This is just amazing.
What is
It,
that? Let me see.
it's a professional survival gear emergency tactical first aid kit.
Interesting. 232 pieces. That's a lot.
Yes!
For $69.99, guys. Look at that.
Yes, got things like a raincoat in it.
Wow.
It has a gloves, emergency blanket, flashlight, compass, fire starter, fishing kit,
Mhm.
knives, two sets of fishing kits, camping utensils, a multifunction axe, a saber card, a military shovel. I mean, have so much stuff in here: scissors, bandages, tape, pins, iodine pads, compass. Um, I mean, it just has a lot of stuff. And 15 in one multifunctional folding axe. 15 in one. Look at all of that gadgets that are on that thing.
Yeah, that is a lot.
That's insane. So I just,
Mhm.
when I run across stuff, I just want to show people that, there's some stuff out here. I never saw this before. I had to even look up what something was on here. I mean, I have it in one of my kits, and I was like, what is that anyway? What was that thing? It's called a pocket. Let's see if I can find it real quick. It's where you use to blow the fire from a distance. Pocket
Mm.
bellow. Yeah, look near the bottom there. Pocket bellow. What you
Okay.
do is you pull that out and you actually blow
Mhm.
from a distance, like to get the fire to catch.
Right, right, right. And I think people. I would just want you guys to get a little understanding of the fact that a lot of these pieces, if you start to look online, a lot of them are sold separately, and you'll see some kits, but they may have a few things here, a few things there, and then you're just trying to buy everything up pretty much separately.
Uh,
And with what they just did, 232 pieces, and you can get it, at least right now you can get it for $69.99. You can
yeah.
guarantee that price is going to go up. I just had an article that I was reading today that in January they're expecting inflation to be at least about 20% more
Oh my
than what it
God,
is right now.
it's already like
Absolutely.
10% now. Jeez, almost.
Well, yeah, they said it may be about a good 40-50% or so. So get stuff while you can. Get stuff while you can, while it's a little bit more affordable for you. Get it now.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, this would definitely be good. I mean, if you have a lot more than one person, like in a group, you could carry so much more than just one person. One thing I will say, I did get the Army survival manual, but this one was interesting when I ran across this. These are survival hacks, different things that you can do,
Mm.
strategies you can use. Most of us never fashion a gas mask with us from a soup can. What? See, stuff like that I would never think of. Uh,
Right.
Making a cook stove from a packet of alcohol-soaked ramen noodles now to cutting fish lures from a shiny bits of your Visa card. I'm like, what?
Mhm.
I mean, who thinks of this stuff? But apparently, look at this. Create a rainwater collector, build a pallet shelter, start a fire with a flashlight, catch a fish with a credit card. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to break down and buy this. I swear I am.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you found that, because one of the things that I was looking at too that I had bought was like something similar to that. It was
Uh-huh.
like not just survival, but it was it just said like handyman, like things that you can use around your house for like to fix, repair
Yes.
things, and handyman
Yes.
type of situation. You gotta think like that, because if you don't have the stores that is going to have the materials you need, then you need to do like what my consort says all the time, you could just. It's like, oh, I don't have that. Well, you could just take this and that, and then next thing
Yep, yep.
you know, you still get what you need. So, it's smart. It's smart to do. It'll come with some ideas for you, and even if they don't have it in there, maybe it'll spark something to where you say, oh, I don't have that, but I have something similar that may work.
Yes, exactly. Improvise.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, this is a good one to have, the U.S. Army Survival Manual from the Department of
Mm.
the Army. Now, this,
Mhm.
and it's not that expensive. I wouldn't buy a Kindle book at this time. I would buy some hard books. It's only $12.99 for this one. They
Mhm.
list some other ones. Your survival guide to firecraft tools, camouflage, tracking movement, and combat. And one of them they mentioned, I wanted to make sure that I showed you, and that's the booby trap one. What if you're out there and you want to get some food? There are booby traps that you can make. Now, this might just be a really
Mm.
good one to invest in, is a booby
Yeah,
trap.
it is. It is because I have found some really smart, unique, like things that you wouldn't think about on catching food, but it actually was so much easier
Uh-huh.
than what you would think about right now.
I know they had a snare, trying to put snares out for rabbits, but the rabbits never came. Thank God we had MREs, but, we were all talking around the fire one night. What if we didn't have these MREs? And we had to learn how to do vectors. I wouldn't want to do a vector. That's where you get the trees and start a fire and make it, fan it to where, they could find, someone could find you. I think
Oh, okay.
in the coming days, I don't think we're going to want anyone to find us,
Mhm.
but, I think we want to be able to get lost, where they can't find us, but there's some things you have to think about too, and actually, you want to make sure that you wear that, I'll make sure I'll get what it is. I know someone that's listening probably know what it's called, but to where your body heat cannot be read, you
Oh
know,
yeah. Okay. Mhm.
stuff like that you want to look into. Uh,
Absolutely.
let's see, there was one more thing. Oh, yeah, I did pick that one. Firecraft for fires and tools, camouflage, tracking and movement and combat. You might have to go there, you know what I mean? So this is something else. They also have a lot of other books. They have quite a few books that you can go through that are surgery, emergency war surgery, survival handbook. I mean, it's just so much stuff that you can look into. But these were the items. I have the link. The links will be on in the description. I gave that to Empress Sade, so you'll be able to look into these things and see if these are some tools that you can use in the future.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. That was the last one that you have for today.
That was the last one.
Okay. Okay. Again, this I hope that people have learned something today, something that they can take with them that may, help you guys in protecting yourself and your family, okay? And thank you so much again, Empress Phoenix Star, with, coming with so much information to kind of pass on to the people, because again, she has been doing her study. She's been doing that research for you guys, and like I stated, it just gives you a foundation that you can utilize to go to the next step. You take it the next step yourself. And I want to reiterate that if anybody wants to find out about their locations, again, you can leave it in the comments below this video on YouTube. You can email at the Moors News Network at gmail.com, or find us on Telegram at the Moors News Network. Again, that invite link is provided below. Do you have any other last words before we go for today, Empress Phoenix Star?
The only thing is just people just really internalize things. Keep your vibes high. There's a lot of people that may not even be afforded to some of the information that we're providing to you. Some people are living probably. Some people might be living on a mountain right by a volcano. Can you believe
Right.
that? Have no
Mm-hmm.
idea. But awareness is something that we want to spread to you, and also to give you heart chakra energy. so that way you can face those times that you may have to face, or even avoid them. You may even avoid
Right.
a lot of this stuff,
Mhm.
because you're getting knowledge, But I just, once again, I'd like to say thanks again, Empress Sade, for allowing me to come in, and it makes me feel good that all this research, people will use, or that they want it. It makes me feel
Right. Yes, yes, because I will say this, we have a growing audience, and a lot of people have stated that they really love the show and the information. So we hear you guys out there. I make sure that I let them know everything that you guys are saying, okay,
uh,
out there on the show. Again, I'm just so happy. When I first thought about doing something like this show, I was going to, do it by myself. And it was just such a divine time that I just so happened to say something about those Ozarks, and
uh,
then here come Empress Phoenix Star, and I didn't know she was on the same information that
oh,
I was on, and I'm so happy that I was guided. And you guys were guided to me, and you also, decided that you were going to do the show because you didn't have to do it, and I'm so happy because yes, I could sit up here and talk all day long by myself, but it's just so good to be able to do this with other people and them sharing their knowledge, their perspective, because it's always good to have more than one head when looking at things.
yeah,
Yeah, so I'm just so happy. I'm so grateful that, you guys were able to come. And I know that you make sure that you are here every week for
yeah.
these people with so much good information. And she puts
Thank,
so much good information in the chat as well on the Moores News Network. You will see her. You will not be able to mistakenly say, oh, I didn't see. You will see her because she's constantly putting solid, solid information
thank you so
in the chat. So I wanted to say that too, and everybody else that is putting in solid information. I've been trying to really give shout outs to everyone, but I'm
much.
specifically saying it for you,
Thank,
Empress Finistar, today, because I definitely appreciate you.
thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, guys, another show, another show. And so, you guys tune in to the next one. Hopefully, we'll be able to, maybe put something together for next Wednesday, okay? So, until next time, I am Sade L. Bay, and this is the Moores News Network. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.